time to get your plant and garden questions answered.
Lisa Briggs is standing by at the Bruce Company, ready to take your calls. Remember, that number is 608-270-9933.
Hi, Lisa. The flowers have arrived.
They have indeed.
All right, let's get to the phones.
Spring is here.
Yes, it is. Finally. Let's get to the phones. Let's start with Steve in Prairie du Sac. Steve, hi, what's your question?
Hi, I have a plum tree that's been blooming since it was really warm out, and it's in full bloom. There's no damage that I can see on it. I don't understand. It's gone through all of these temperature fluctuations and everything else, and it's just as beautiful, and it keeps on getting prettier. So I don't know if it's going to produce fruit or not, and this is what confuses me.
You might have a microclimate where it's just doing really well and it's not being damaged. It's all about the pollinators at this stage of the game. So if the flowers aren't damaged and you've got pollinator activity, then keep your fingers crossed. The only thing is with plums, depending on the variety, it might need a second tree to pollinate it, but if they're the small blue, what we call prune plums or Italian plums, you have a good shot of getting fruit if the flowers are in good shape.
All right, well, good luck.
This one's self-pollinating, so...
Oh, it's self-pollinating.
Cool. Okay.
All right, well, good luck.
Let's go to Elaine from Whitewater. Elaine, what's your question?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I have a bleeding heart plant. This is the third year that it's been coming up. But the first 2 years, the branches, I guess you would call them, they're just huge. They're probably about 3 feet long. It's just overgrowing the area in the garden, and only a very few blossoms are on it. Can you tell me what is wrong with it or what I'm doing with it? Or it gets plenty of sun.
Okay. So bleeding hearts as plants do quite well in a pretty shady spot. But to get flowers, they're going to need some morning sun. If the plant is super vigorous, and if you're putting in any fertilizer in your garden, I would switch to a fertilizer where the first number isn't the biggest number, because it sounds like it's pushing a lot of green growth with maybe some nitrogen, some heavy nitrogen fertilizer, and not phosphorus or potassium. So you might want to switch out your fertilizer if that's what you do. Otherwise, I'm a little stumped. If you're getting enough sun and the plant is vigorous, the only thing I can think of is that you're over-fertilizing it.
I'm not fertilizing it at all.
Okay. Well, send us some pictures to the plant desk and we'll take a look, and maybe show us the whole area so we can see what the site looks like. plantdesk@brucecompany.com.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. We'll watch for them.
All right, let's go to Diane in Sun Prairie. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Lisa. My question is that I've got a azalea shrub. Can it be pruned?
You really want to wait till after it's flowering, and then you very carefully just take the flowers out. The new buds for green growth, for the new growth for this coming year, are right underneath those flower buds. If you cut it back now, you're cutting all of that out. Once that growth expands and starts to harden off, then you can do a little shaping. And, if you've got, really weird branches, you can take those off at that time. It's a little bit early yet.
Don't do it now.
Okay,
Don't do it now.
I can do it in 2 months?
Oh, yeah, probably 6 weeks, I would think.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Next caller, Bev from Beaver Dam. What's your question, Bev?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call, first of all. I would like to know if we're past prime time for putting a crabgrass preventer on.
Oh, no, you can still be putting crabgrass preventative down. I would get it down sooner rather than later. As long as you haven't done a bunch of mowing, you've got plenty of time. The warm weather kind of kicked it off, but then it got cool again, so you've got lots of time. Put it down this weekend.
All right. Sounds good. Naomi in Beloit. Hi. What's your question?
Yes, we have tulips, lots of tulips this year, circling 3 sides of our home, but our squirrels are snipping them off one at a time. What can we do? We don't want to harm the squirrels, but, we're missing our tulips.
You're going to want to use a scent repellent. So there are a number of them on the market. There are liquid ones. There are granular ones. My favorites are by a company called Shake Away. I use it to keep the rabbits away from my hostas, and it's pretty effective.
All right. And what's it made out of?
Yeah.
freeze-dried granulated predator urine.
There we go. You had to get it in.
We get to say it once every week, right?
So just put it around the outside of the beds.
Yeah, on the edges of the bed. It'll keep them away.
Okay.
The more you know. All right, Gene from Fort Atkinson, what's your question?
Gene, you there?
Gene, are you there?
Yeah, hi, Jean.
Gene, go ahead.
Yeah, rhododendron with brownish olive-colored leaves.
Okay.
Okay. We did have a pretty chilly winter this year, and so if you had an evergreen rhododendron, you might see some damage on some of the leaves. Even some of the ones that we got into the garden center this year, we're seeing some damage. But you're still going to get flowers if you have flower buds intact, and then you're going to get new growth, just like on the azalea that we talked about earlier. And that should cover up any of that growth that's damaged enough to fall off. I would just leave it until the new growth pops, and then that should fill it in.
All right, we're getting there. Spring's here.
It's coming. we
Maybe
also
after
keep
this.
our fingers crossed and hope really hard.
Maybe after this weekend. Then we turn the corner. At least thank you all for calling.
Thank you, guys.